Binge or Bin from Independent TV, giving you the lowdown on which TV shows are binge-worthy and which ones are bin-worthy. This week, we've been watching The Kingdom Exodus on Mubi and Netflix's Addams Family series, Wednesday.
And we'll introduce you to our pick of hidden gems we think you should be watching.
Annabel!
Jacob, how you doing?
I'm good, I've been watching loads of TV.
Oh, well, let's get stuck in. What have you been watching?
So I've been watching The Kingdom Exodus on Mubi. So The Kingdom is very special, actually, the fact that it show's back, because it hasn't been on air since 1997. And it's from director Lars von Trier, who we know as the director of Melancholia, Antichrist, The House That Jack Built, and the founder of the Dogma 95 film movement. So he created a TV show, and basically the plotline is a haunted hospital. It basically is about the hospital workers, the patients, who are trying to navigate their way around a haunted hospital where some pretty mad things happen. The show goes to some crazy places. Each episode is like an art house film. And if you know Lars von Trier, you know he doesn't hold back. And he doesn't really hold back here at all either. He directs every episode alongside a guy called Morten Armfred, who did the original 2 series as well. Returning cast members, you've got Bertha Newman, and you also have a very surprise cameo in the form of Alexander Skarsgård, who is in this series. Not in a big role, but he's there, you know. He's bringing the A-list clout. It's a Danish TV show, but very different to the ones that put Denmark on the map in terms of Scandi crime dramas like The Killing and The Bridge. Kingdom is its own thing. It's its own thing. And I know, you know, if you like your shows to be a bit different, I recommend The Kingdom Exodus. Because it's definitely, out of all the shows I've spoken about, certainly on Binge or Bin, probably the most unique.
Well, I'm sufficiently intrigued. So, is The Kingdom Exodus a binge or a bin?
It's a binge, and it's fun because it's set around Christmas time. So if you want to get into the festive spirit in your own way, The Kingdom Exodus could be the perfect way to do it.
Well, I've been watching what I think pretty much everyone has been watching from the sounds of it. I've been watching Wednesday on Netflix, which is, of course, the new Addams Family series that's just come out. Yeah, I feel like it was always going to be a tricky series just because, you know, the Addams Family is such a beloved and treasured, cultural moment. So going anywhere near that was going to be contentious territory. But I feel like when Tim Burton was announced to be attached to the project, a lot of those concerns were kind of, you know, put to rest. Although I will say he only directs the first 4 episodes, so it's not like he's kind of in it from the beginning to the end. But his influence is definitely felt, and it recently just broke the Netflix record for most views in a week, which is pretty impressive. I mean, it's a record that was previously held by Stranger Things, so for Wednesday to come in and beat that is pretty incredible. People are raving over Jenna Ortega as Wednesday, who, yeah, like I said, is always going to be a difficult character to play just because she was so iconically portrayed by Christina Ricci. Actually, Christina Ricci appears in the show as well, which is kind of like a fun little nod back to, you know, tradition. So people will recognize Jenna Ortega probably from Netflix's hit series You, but she's also become something of a scream queen lately. She was in Scream 5 earlier this year. She was in Insidious, the sequel. It feels like she's on the rise, and this is definitely going to be her massive breakthrough moment.
I act as if I don't care if people dislike me. Deep down, I actually enjoy it. Boom.
The best way I can kind of summarize it is probably like at a supernatural Nancy Drew. Wednesday goes to this school for outcasts and uncovers all of these mysteries. But at its heart, it's definitely like a Gen Z drama, and it's formulaic, but the formula works. It's like got boy drama, and it's got, you know, like a mean queen bee. So you've also got Louise Guzman and Catherine Zeta-Jones playing Morticia and Gomez. And these are kind of guest starring roles, really. They're not in it much, but you really wish they were in it more. I will say there is some pretty dodgy CGI in there, but you get over that quite quickly. And I mean, it's just a fun watch, and I think they haven't tarnished the Addams Family, you know, legacy. And that in itself is an accomplishment, given how many people were kind of prepared to really hate this show.
So I have to ask the question though, Wednesday, binge or bin?
It's a binge, which is 2 binges from us, and considering that we sometimes do 2 bins, I feel like it's a pretty positive week.
Good evening, girls. I'm Miss Thornhill. I trust Enid has given you the old nevermore welcome.
She's been smothering me with hospitality. I hope to return the favor. In her sleep.
Right, well, let's shine the light on some other good TV shows. The hidden gems that we think you should be watching, the ones that you might not have heard of, and we think you should fast track to the top of your list. My one is very timely because it's coming back for a new series over Christmas, and it's I Hate Suzie, which is created by Billie Piper and starring Billie Piper and Lucy Prebble, who you'll know is a writer and producer on Succession. When I first watched it, I was absolutely blown away by it. It's a show about essentially cancel culture, which might make you roll your eyes, but I think it's done in such an inventive way that you just you get completely swept up by the lead character, Suzie Pickles, who is basically her career as an actress is compromised after photos of her are hacked, and truths come to light that she might not want to come to light, and then she finds herself basically on the outs in regards to her career.
I'm a terrible mother, terrible wife, slightly above average actress.
Each episode is based on a different stage of trauma, so each episode is very conceptually different to the last, which keeps you on your toes as a TV viewer. That's what I like from my TV. I like being surprised each episode. I think it's just further proof that Billie Piper, obviously she had TV success with Secret Diary of a Call Girl way back, but she's, really proving her mettle, and Lucy Prebble as well, with a show that I think has every right to be deemed one of the best British shows in recent years. I think it's that good. The other cast members in Series 1 include Daniel Ings, who you'll know from The Crown and Lovesick, which was a hidden gem of mine before. Also as Susie's agent / best friend, Naomi, Layla Farzad, who is needs to be cast in more things, I think. She's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I Hate Susie's back for the second series, so now is the time to watch that show, and if you haven't watched it, you're going to tear through. You are in for such a treat.
There were some photos posted online. It's not me. No.
I wish I was that fit.
So my hidden gem this week is Malcolm in the Middle, which isn't so much hidden, but it is definitely a gem. It's like my biggest comfort watch, and all 7 seasons are now on Disney Plus, and it has been like the biggest delight to just actually get stuck in and watch them on demand, kind of in sequence, because I think you just get a different experience when you're actually watching it the way it was released as opposed to very sporadically. You've got Frankie Muniz as Malcolm, this kind of genius kid who we meet in primary school who's a bit of a loser, and Justin Burfield as his troublemaking older brother Reese, and his younger brother Dewey is played by Eric Sullivan, and the kids are all fantastic. Like, honestly, when you go back and watch season 1, it's really incredible how good they are in their roles considering they're so young, and it's really nice because over those 6 years you really watch them grow, and there is something special about a show that goes on that long. You become so attached to the characters.
Nancy doesn't have a mother.
That's right. She has 2 daddies.
2 guys as your parents? That house has got to be a dude's paradise.
But while the kids are great, the real stars are definitely the parents, who are played by Jane Kaczmarek and Bryan Cranston. Obviously, Bryan Cranston will be known for his role in Breaking Bad, which was very different to Malcolm in the Middle, but equally excellent. He plays kind of this hapless husband, Hal, and it's just some of the best physical comedy that I've seen. He's so talented as an actor that he's able to do, Breaking Bad and Malcolm in the Middle, and both performances. He won an Emmy for his performance in Malcolm in the Middle, which he also did for Breaking Bad, and he deserved them both. Viewers will probably know Jane Kaczmarek less so, which is a massive shame, because I actually think her performance in Malcolm in the Middle is just extraordinary, like the best. And I think she was nominated for a few Emmys but didn't win them, which is probably honestly criminal. It's one of the best comedic performances I've seen. Most of the time sitcoms will start to feel really stale by about season 5. But this one, the later seasons are just as good as the earlier ones, and you're kind of, there's not like a dud episode in there. And also it stands the test of time, which, I mean, a lot of sitcoms will age so poorly, either because they are like incredibly offensive, or just because, you know, it's not as funny as you thought it was. But going back and watching Malcolm in the Middle, it's funnier than I remember.
Should I be impressed or horrified?
We have given high praise today. It feels good. We're in positive mode. We've been a bit negative recently. We're back to our positive selves.
I think it's the holidays coming around.
Yeah.
You know, a generous spirit.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for watching Binge or Bin. That is a wealth of great TV there for you to work through. Until we see you again next time. Like and comment below, and subscribe for more from Independent TV.